Hi, this is Margaret with Noble Desktop, and today we will be looking at markers in Premiere Pro. Markers can be put on the timeline, on the footage on the timeline, or on the footage you have in your browser. Let's look at it first on the footage in our browser. So when you are looking, here are these in and out points. When you're going through your footage, there may be some notes you want to take on the actual clip itself in the form of a marker. So I'm going to say right over here, maybe I think that's the nicest section of this entire take. I'm going to press the letter M, and that instantly creates a marker. And this marker will be seen, I'm going to the drop-down menu right now to Markers, and right here we have just a basic marker. If you are on your marker and you press M again, two M's, M and then M again, this window comes up. You could change the color of the marker if you chose to here, but you can also do a lot of other things. Today we're just going to be looking at comment markers and segmentation markers. So a comment marker, I could right now, I can first name this marker called Good Take, and I'm going to maybe say use this for the promo. Maybe I want this to be a promo. And now if I say OK, this now becomes more information. Now maybe I want it to be a little bit more elaborate than that. So I'm going to delete this marker. And you can delete markers a couple of ways. You could say edit marker and then have delete. That's one way. You want to delete your marker in easier keyboard command way. Option M deletes it. If you have several markers and you want to delete all of them, Command Option M will delete all of your markers. Everything I'm saying goes for if it's on the timeline or in the source footage, which I'll demonstrate. And now another thing about multiple markers, to navigate back and forth around them, Command Shift M takes you backwards, and then Shift M takes you forward. Command Shift M takes you backwards, Shift M takes you forward. M and then M again, and this time I'm going to say segmentation marker, and I'm going to call it use for demo. And now this part is very important, otherwise it doesn't work. Here's duration. You have to scroll over. I'm going to make this kind of long. 10 seconds, 5 frames. Okay? Segmentation markers clicked. And now I'll say OK. Now I actually have a section that I could look at. Very useful. But you could go through all your footage and just, instead of taking notes, you could go through it and use segmentation markers. Like maybe right here, I'll say M and M. Segmentation marker, duration. And maybe I'm going to say correct audio hit, or something happened right there that I'd like to connect. 5 seconds, 10 frames, I just moved it. I'll say OK. So just to let me know that there's an issue there. You might have noticed that it also appeared right on the clip in the timeline. So in case I didn't see it up here, I'm going to see it as I start working. It happens to already be on the timeline. Now speaking of which, if I want to say this needs to be color corrected, I'm going to say M again, and I'm just going to say color correct, segmentation marker, increase the time, say OK. So now I have right on my timeline this note. However, maybe I've moved my clips. This stays in place. Maybe I'd like that to be directly on a clip. Command M, I'm deleting that. I want it to be on this clip. It wasn't linked, I'll link that. So I'm going to say M again, segmentation marker. I'm going to say color correct, increase this duration, OK. You can increase it there. If you, over here, you can see how I'm scrolling over these numbers in this area. You can enlarge it right here in this area. And you could also change it. This could use some white balancing. Make it even more specific what I want to do to that clip. So now when it comes to just your regular markers, it's super handy. The way that I generally use markers is when I go through my footage and I want to remember that there are certain things, there are certain parts of this clip that are very important for me to remember. For example, maybe this right here, I'm going to just say M, and then I'll say M again, and I'm just going to write fix, and I'll just say audio is damaged, or something happened there. And then I'll just have as a regular comment marker, and then just say okay. So I know that when I'm starting to edit, that I'll notice, oh, when I reviewed the footage, this had audio is damaged. And then maybe I'll say, instead of fix, I'll say, you know, do not use. And that would make more sense, because maybe I just want to remember, oh, when I'm editing this movie, I want to avoid this section, and I want to just avoid that. And maybe I'll just start him there in close up when I'm doing my edit. Next time we look at markers, we're going to take a look at web links. I hope you've enjoyed this introductory lesson on markers in Premiere Pro. This has been Margaret with Noble Desktop.